everybody, welcome to another live Q&A, which normally is on Monday, but today is on Tuesday, September 5th, 2017. Welcome to sunny Florida. For now, anyway. It's a week and a half. It's been very, very busy getting ready for all the, the Labor Day weekend. And we got to play lots of games and such. Went to the Mac and Chess Board Game Cafe. Check that out. And, of course, we have Hurricane Irma breathing down our back door here, looking currently like it's going to ride right up into Florida. So that's going to keep us having, well, it's going to be an interesting weekend. So, do you wear shoes inside is the question. Well, normally, no. I'm currently wearing shoes. I almost never wear shoes, but ever since I saw that scorpion, I wear shoes. I usually take them off, though. Living in Korea for 10 years, we took our shoes off. Let's see. Stay safe. I think it's funny everyone says stay safe as opposed to stay unsafe. We're going to do our best. I want to play Scythe with you at Grand Con. You should hope I get to Grand Con at this point. Let's see what else we have. Were you able to play Anachrony yet? I don't even have Anachrony yet. It was one of the things from Gen Con that got put into a package, and because of the hurricane that hit Texas, that was delayed. We still don't have that package yet. Hope those are real bricks behind you. They're not, but there are real bricks behind me, behind those bricks. So there's that. I can make you guys a far better Dice Tower intro for free. What do you say? Well, you should probably email me off here and tell me about it. Just found bootleggers for $5. Is it worth it? Oh, yes. Do you enjoy Monocor's? Well, I mean, Monocor's looks like it's just a copy of Time's Up, really, so I don't really see why I would get one over the other. It looks like the exact same game, honestly. Will you invite Jason down for Hurricane Con like last year? Yeah, I did, actually, and we are, but I just don't remember it. He remembers it. My mind has gone blank. Of course, no hurricane even hit us last year. What are my Irma plans? Well, the plans are what we all do here in the case of such a hurricane. Now, the last major hurricane that hit Florida was 12 years ago. So most people here have not seen one, or anyone short time, myself included. I've been through some hurricanes when I lived in Pensacola, although nothing to this extent. Obviously, the big hurricane that hit Homestead 25 years and 2 weeks ago was Hurricane Andrew, which wiped Homestead off the map, essentially. Although there's plenty of people here who were here when it happened. So we bought food, we bought water, I'm going to board up my house, I'm going to close the shutters, and then we're going to hunker down and ride it out. There's not a whole lot else we can do. We prepare, we get everything that we need. We will do our best. That's our plans. Do you think there will ever be a possibility of enhanced playthroughs similar to what we see on Will Wheaton's tabletop? I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Because they're very contrived, and I don't know if I like them contrived. I'm not speaking ill. I've just been part of one of these before, not on Will Wheaton's, but with Simon. And so you play through the game, and then after the game, they're like, now at this point, what were you thinking? And you say what you were thinking, and then they're like, now what were you thinking here? And then if you make a joke or something, you have to redo the joke if the camera didn't catch it properly. I don't know if I want to do that. I'd rather the stuff be real and raw like our live playthroughs. They're not as polished, obviously, but I feel like they're more real. What was a board game related secret you really couldn't wait to announce? Well, I've had so many that I don't know off the top of my head. And I forget sometimes what they were. I remember telling Eric about Merchants of Venus 2nd edition. That was exciting. I'm on a business trip and watching this live Q&A session about board games. What do you think about that? Cool. Have a great trip. Question from Argentina. Have you heard about the new board games that have been published here? I've heard about some. Would you review them if they were mailed to you there? Probably. Any update on the live video show with you and Eric? Oh, yeah, that's going live tomorrow night. Hopefully. They just canceled school here on Thursday and Friday in the area. Some people are leaving the area. They're going to evacuate the Keys. So we'll see. I don't see any reason to cancel school, honestly, yet. I mean, there's nothing you can do Thursday. There will be nothing here Thursday. There will be rain maybe Friday, and then the hurricane won't come till Saturday night. So we'll see. There are tons of board games with city names. What city should get its own board game next? None. Have you seen Edge of Darkness, the new AEG release with the Mystic Veil card crafting mechanism? If so, what did you think? Yes, I did see it. I played it. I think it's good, but I was falling asleep during the game. Not because the game was boring, but because I was so exhausted at Gen Con. Codex. If you want to know what I think about Codex, keep an eye on my top 100 and see if it's there or not. If it's there, it was pretty high last year. Will it remain as high? You have to wait and see. Let's see here. What game do I predict to be the most popular at Essen? If Pandemic Legacy 2 is there, I would do that. What are y'all's PAX Unplugged plans? We're still working those out. Have you received 7th Continent yet? I have not received 7th Continent yet. Will you be reviewing Gaia Project soon? Probably not. I don't have it yet. Which TV family is most like your own? Well, none, because they're all exaggerated stereotypes. But like my family growing up, Malcolm in the Middle, maybe. What are your thoughts on Wasteland Express delivery service? I know Sam's a fan. He is a fan, and I have not played it yet. I've been trying to get into a living card game. Well, there's not a whole lot you can do to get into one of those. You would have to know an artist and have them put you in the game. Probably not. You're not going to be able to get into one, especially not Fantasy Flight. Fantasy Flight very rarely puts people in their games. They put employees into their games after that employee's been with the company for a certain amount of time. What did you and Sam think about the Jamaica expansion? I thought the expansion was okay. I mean, it's really neat to have these new characters, and these new characters can be stolen out of ships, and they give you special abilities. That's kind of neat. The way you get them by paying coins and landing on coins, that's okay, right? You know, it's kind of frustrating if you're trying to get a character and you can't, but I do like them in that regard. What I don't like, and I really don't like this part about them, is that they all give points if you are in first place. The game already had a heavy emphasis on being first place. So for me, there's no other alternative. Just run for first place. Ignore everything else. Forget gold. Forget everything. Run for first place. Get a couple of these guys. I really dislike that. I would rather if you're not going to be in first place, then you're not doing very hot in this game at all. Yes, I know the game is a race game and you should be in first place, but I feel like that strategy is way too dominant. I want to know someone who got first place, who crossed the finish line first in this game and didn't win. With these new character cards, I just can't see that even happening. Oh, let's see here. What's the relationship between the Dice Tower and Board Game Geek? Are you guys pretty much the same thing, or is BGG kind of like an umbrella corporation? We are not associated with Board Game Geek at all. We are friendly, and we definitely cross over, and I post my reviews there, and we have a forums set up on one of their guilds there. Just like Board Game Geek probably gets a bit, not a bit of exposure from us being on there. It's kind of a cross-promotional thing for sure. But we are not owned by one another, and there's really nothing other than us saying hi to each other and being friendly at conventions. How does one keep his collection of games dry during a hurricane? I would bring them in from outside. I'm supposed to tell you, let's see. Move to Grand Rapids. No hurricanes, and then you can go to Grand Con. Yeah, but then I have to deal with winter. First Martians review soon. Will you be doing at least one campaign before reviewing? The second question is yes. Therefore, the first question is no. Because I have to play through a campaign and so much, First Martians is a lot of work. You won't see that one for a while. Do you ever think about retiring from the Dice Tower? Well, I'm 40. I will be 41 in 3 days. I believe you don't retire until you're like 65. So I believe I have 24 years left before I retire. Why would I want to retire? I really like what I do. Will it continue on without you? Well, I hope so. So when the hurricane kills me, hopefully, you know, someone else will take it over. Does Melody have aspirations of taking your job? Yes, she's right there behind the camera right now with a knife. I don't think she wants to take over the Dice Tower anymore. She used to, but now she's given up on that dream. I got to shrug. She doesn't care if the Dice Tower succeeds or fails. Being British, the concept of hurricane seems terrifying, and you seem so chilled about it. Well, I mean, first of all, I don't know. I mean, obviously I can present a calm, but what can we do? We can't run around screaming about it. I could put my family in a van and start driving, and you literally could do that, escape from the hurricane. But they built the houses here to survive hurricanes. Our house is supposedly built to code. We'll find out soon enough. If you started a Dice Tower restaurant, what types of food would you serve? Comfort foods. I think the board game secret question was regarding an announcement at Gen Con that you had mentioned on your Q&As in the lead up to Gen Con. Oh, I knew about the roller coaster game, maybe, from Pandasaurus. I'm really excited about that one. What are your thoughts on moving Gen Con to a more capable city? I think Gen Con does okay. It's not Indianapolis' fault that Gen Con is so big, but there's very few cities that would be able to handle it. Orlando and Vegas would be able to handle it for sure, but they're both not central to the country. Chicago might be able to handle it, but then the city itself would be super expensive, and they wouldn't be as nice to us as the people in Indianapolis are. So I don't really know of any good city that's central and could handle Gen Con. Do you guys work off someone's house, or do you have a dedicated Dice Tower space? This is a dedicated space. You are now, that's camera B that you're watching. Camera B, this is Studio B. We haven't named this studio after someone yet. We're still waiting to see if there's a sponsor for this studio. But camera B is my camera for the most part. That's where most of my reviews are done. You can see the background. We're starting to build a backing. We'll finish it eventually. We were going to finish a lot of it this week, but the hurricane has slightly changed our plans on that. Over there is camera C behind me. Camera C was outside earlier today because we were out in Studio C, which is our back porch, recording our top 100 list. And camera 1 is in Studio A, where that one records. I do some of my recording in there, and Sam and Z do their recording in there. If you could ask an alien one question, what would it be? I'd probably say, what's your name? That seems like a good place to start. Are you preparing for the hurricane, protecting your games? I'd like to be super clear on this because I do a lot of joking on my Q&A, but my games are by far my least concern in a hurricane. It is family first, then it is important things, and like my camera A, B, C, and all the cameras and computers, that's important. Games, not so much. Games can be replaced. Why don't you say the change of the positions of the games in your top 100? Well, I mean, I'll post this. You can see it online. I don't want to get too mathy. I mention it occasionally. Let's see here. In a few weeks, there will be a second Seventh Continent Kickstarter campaign. Will there be any review or something else about the game on Dice Tower channel? I'm thinking about kickstarting it. Oh, I guess there will be a review at some point, but I'm not sure that it will have anything to do with us, or if we're working with the Kickstarter campaign, we're not. Do you still think Twilight Imperium is one of the best games ever? Your new review seemed a bit more lukewarm than your TI3 one. Well, I mean, I really like the game. I've played 5,000 games probably. Twilight Imperium is my number 105. That's really, really high. So take that as you will. Any word on the Meeple trademark controversy? I don't know anything about it. On what day will the Dice Tower show be at Essen? It will be Friday. I believe it is at 4 o'clock Friday. Let's see. There's a live playthrough of Rising Sun tonight here on our channel, I believe. Sam and Vernon are going to play that. I thought this week's board game breakfast should be called Unfriendly Game Store. I thought you were going to talk about options to game if you don't have a store near you. That is going to be something I talk about. I'm going to be doing a whole series about that. I don't know if I will continue that this week. I mean, board game breakfast may not even happen this week. It depends on the hurricane and all that jazz, but we'll see. Do you think that one-and-done games like the Escape Room and Legacy games are bad for the environment? No. How do you come across the games that become Dice Tower essentials? It's various ways and methodologies. There's no one way. Everyone that's come in, a couple I've hunted down myself, a couple were brought to me, but very, very different. Here's one way that hasn't really worked yet, and that's people like auditioning me for it on their own. That's still haven't played one of those that has made through the whole procedure yet. How are sales of Viral going? I think they're good, but I don't know the exact numbers because that's Arcane Wonders, not me. Now that you have a studio, what's the next big thing for the Dice Tower? There's always next big things for the Dice Tower. Like right now, we're making some transitions in our podcast. For me, the next big thing for the Dice Tower is finishing our top 100, surviving a hurricane, planning to go to Grand Con, Halicon, and Essen, although Grand Con's still kind of iffy depending on what happens this weekend. And then getting ready for our Kickstarter coming up in January. At that point, I'll start making plans for the future. But the studio is a very big change for us, and we still are working on getting it done. Let's see here. Have you played Near and Far with the campaign mode? Yes. Would you recommend it for 2? Yes. Will there be a Dice Tower cruise next year? Probably. Planning to. Have you played World of Warcraft, the board game? Yes, it was a long time ago that I played that game. It was a very interesting game. Big, long, combat-filled. The combat did not really, you would like fight monsters, and it had nothing to do with your opponents would sit there and wait while you spent 30 minutes fighting monsters. When you fight your opponents, it's amazing. It's neat. It's a really cool combat system, although I forget exactly how everything worked in it. But I really liked it, the ice and all kinds of... We fought the other team in World of Warcraft, and it was like an hour fight. Ridiculously long game. What's the camera behind you filming? Oh, wait. I got to look the right direction. That didn't work. Let me... Never mind. Did you get the new asking for troubles at Gen Con? I handed it to Eric, or did Eric steal it from you? Eric did not steal it from me, but Z Garcia did. Have you ever fired anyone? Like, as an employer? This is the first time in my life I've been an employer, so no, I have not. Hey, Tom, anyone on your team to review for Kalis Magna Carta? Probably not. Isn't that game like 10 years old now? I like it. It's fine, but it's not even in print. Who is the top boss of the Dice Tower? You or Eric Summerer? Well, at the risk of being somewhat Bragging. I'm pretty sure it's me. Eric is my co-host for the audio show, but his day-to-day job is a voice work job. This is my full-time job here. You all sticking around for the hurricane? Well, I mean, again, the whole state of Florida can't leave, right? It's just not possible. They have hurricane shelters that you can go to if it's really bad, and otherwise you stay in your house and hunker down. They will tell us what to do, and we will listen to what they tell us to do. Why am I so negative on my own game? Nothing personal? I don't think I'm negative. I just try not to brag about my own game. It seems rude. Did you ever have second thoughts when you were setting up the Dice Tower? Did you ever think about giving it up before it became popular? I thought about giving it up after it became popular. But, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I don't know. I look forward each year. What do I want to do this year? Am I still wanting to do Dice Tower? I really am. And so, yeah, I really enjoy it. So I don't know that I would say I've ever had really second thoughts. Have you ever removed the game from your collection because an app replaced it entirely for you? Well, Ascension is close. Hiroshima Hex, I did that with for sure. Those are the only two I can think of. What did you think of the customer service in Germany and England when you were there for conventions? Is it true that there's a huge difference to the U.S.? I thought the customer service was fine. I think the customer service in America is fine. I've been places all over the world where there's been people who were rude that I've been to and people who were super polite. I don't know that it's a country thing. If it is, then Asia destroys both Europe and America. Let's see. And, you know, one of the things someone's mentioning, people are mentioning different cities where it would be good to have Gen Con. I think a lot of people who say these things don't realize all the logistics involved. It is a mega convention. It's grown. I know a bit of the logistics involved in running the Dice Tower Con. There's a lot going on to put this small con of 3,000 people together. There's a lot. To take a con and move it to another city, there's a lot of difficulties involved with that. And people are like, oh, well, you just move to this city. This city would be fantastic. There's blah, 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 blah. And they know all the advantages. What they don't realize is there's disadvantages, because there are. There's definitely disadvantages to every location and every decision. But you don't look at them. You're just like, wow, I'm sure it would be better here. I have a hard time, and I don't know everything behind the scenes, but I know a lot of stuff that goes on with Gen Con and stuff, and I have a hard time seeing them moving at all, if it's even possible. And why should they move? They're doing well. Yeah, they had to cap off attendance. But the thing is, people can go to other conventions. There's other conventions to go to. Just got back from Shady Maple Smorgasbord. Still delicious. A pox upon you. Where was your favorite ever holiday? I'm assuming by holiday you mean vacation. My favorite vacation ever was probably, it's a tie between the cruise I took my family on Norwegian cruise lines, and when me and my family and I went to Malaysia one time. We went to KL, and me and Melody rode a roller coaster at the top of a mountain. We went sledding in Malaysia in an inside snow area. We went to the Petronas Towers. It was a really cool place. Question, I've noticed a trend with many people not liking screen capture artwork for games based on a movie or TV show. Can you explain why you don't like it? And maybe give an example of a game. Yeah, I don't really like it at all. I don't know why. It just looks like someone took screen captures and put them in the game. It doesn't look good. I feel like, well, Battlestar Galactica did it, although Battlestar Galactica is one of the few that did it well. But Spartacus, there's a lot of these games that have these screen captures. Fantasy Flight has done it with Star Wars, where they redrew the stuff, and it's like, wow, that stuff really looks good. But screen captures always look like they're posed. They always look like they're pulled from stills that you are allowed to use by the IP people. I don't know. They just never look good. Well, you keep using Studio C. I can't forget which Studio C is. Studio C, the outside one? Yeah, I think so. As long as it survives this weekend. I saw you at Gen Con. You are very tall. Thank you. I saw you at Gen Con. Your name is amazing. Let's see. Avalon Hill's Magic Realm can never be replaced after a hurricane takes it. That's probably for the best, though. How do you decide which content reviews to use for the podcast versus video? I review everything I can on video. The podcast, I just go through the games that I've reviewed on video and say, I feel like talking about these on the podcast. Do you own a pith helmet? No, I don't own a pith helmet. I thought about it, but there's no real reason to own one of those. Let's see. TI3 and TI4, is it worth owning both? I don't think so. You should just get one. Let's see here. Did you get the hammer? Did you get the hammer on your verdict of game come from? Is it a hammer? Did you make the hammer? This hammer here is from Dogmite Games. It is actually a die holder. You can put dice in here. Has rare earth magnets so that it fits together to make the Dice Tower Hammer of Judgment. It also wheels into two hammers so that when that guy comes in the house at the middle of the night, I'll be like, wah! And then he'll come and he'll be like, oh, what are you doing? And I'll be like, take one more step, sucker, and I'll hit you with these toy hammers. And that will be what's written on my gravestone. How will tickets for the Dice Tower Live event at Essen Spiel be distributed? Yes. Once again, we will hand them out at our booth on Friday morning. Will you do another top 10 stocking stuffer lists for the holidays? Yes. What type of Dice Tower character can dual-wield hammers? It is called a Grand Reviewer. Can wield the two hammers. Do you see more or less games using symbology instead of text? Yes, but I like text better. Coming up, episode 200 on Board Game Breakfast. Any big plans for that episode? Not really. I really haven't thought much about it. It's like at the end of the year, too, right? Do I know of any success stories of gaming publishers from smaller or third world countries? I don't actually. Maybe I do, and I just don't remember them. If your daughter came home with a motorcycle she bought, would you let her ride it? Well, first of all, I would want to know where she got the money to buy a motorcycle from. But then I would wonder about the licensing. How does she have a license to ride a motorcycle? Now, if she's moved out of the house and brings home a motorcycle, would I let her ride it? I don't think I have a say in the matter at that point. Let's see. As a first-time designer, what's the best company to contact as a possible publisher? See, you shouldn't even ask me that question, really. If you don't know what company will publish your game, then you need to do more research into the hobby. There is hundreds and hundreds of companies out there. One of them is probably the company for you and your game, assuming your game is any good. That company is what you need to find. If you're a Euro game designer, you're probably not going to take your game to Fantasy Flight Games. You need to find the right publisher who's willing to publish your game, and that's a right fit for them. Please give my love to P1 Table. Oh, P1 Table's not here. I think P1 Table passed away. Your Gen Con Dice Tower from Broken Token looked amazing. Do you plan to work with them for official Dice Tower towers available to purchase? Probably not. That is not a cheap tower to put together. But that is a cool tower. Would you invest in an actual tower to hold all Dice Tower affairs? I'd love to, but if it is, yeah, it would not be. We need something that's actually legitimate. Let's see here. Hope they have better tips than duck and cover. Well, again, when it comes to hurricanes, what would be your tip? I mean, we have lots of tips. There's whole sheets of tips and things, but for the most part, you stay in your house and don't go outside. That's the wise thing to do. Attacking the hurricane is a step behind attacking the gazebo. Let's see here. Do you have a list or a video that shows all the equipment used for the Dice Tower? I do not. Let's see here. Hey, Barnes & Noble's 75% sale went off yesterday. I know that because Kenny went and bought lots of games at them. Was it always called the Dice Tower? No, the Dice Tower is what we called it in episode 2 or 3 of our audio show. It was called Panzers and Pieces, I think, for the first episode, which at the time we were putting it up on Board Game News, and the editor, Rick Thornquist, said it sounded like a war game podcast, and I was like, you're right. It's only half war games with Joe, and it's not even, you know, we talk a lot about games that aren't war anyway, so I don't know, the name Dice Tower just came to me. Ooh. If Queen Domino is indeed the better game, is it a shame that the better sounding name of King Domino was used for the inferior game? I don't know, Queen Domino sounds like a cool name to me. Let's see here. Have you tried Wartime by WizKids? I have not played the final version of it yet, but I have played the original version of Wartime, and yes, it was good, but it's a very eclectic game, and not everyone's going to like it because it's real-time mixed with a war game. Have you been able to play Rising Sun with the stretch goal components? Well, I don't have any of those, so no. What are your real thoughts on the Heart Ring from Captain Planet? I really didn't like Captain Planet at all. I didn't like Captain Planet. It has a cool theme song. I've not played any of the downloadable content for Match the Madness, although I feel like I bought one and downloaded it. I feel like I did, but I'm not sure. Have you ever had a period in which you were giving up on playing board games? No. That has not really happened to me. I mean, there's been a couple days where I haven't played them for sure, but I don't need to play board games all the time. I bet you I play a lot of games this weekend, though. I already have I'm taking Seventh Continent home to play. I'm going to play... I'm taking home Gloomhaven. We're taking home some games, baby. We're going to play some long ones. How do you all determine what games get put on the Miami Dice? I just choose games I think that people would like to see on Miami Dice. Has Gen Con always been at the same city? No. Junk Art or Meeple Circus? Oh, that's a good question. Melody, which one's better, Junk Art or Meeple Circus? Junk Art is the one with all the blocks and stuff. Maple Circus? Melody is swayed by the circus theme. I'll go Maple Circus too. Since Fireball Island has been confirmed, what's the next game you want to see get the Restoration Games treatment? Heroescape. How was your meetup at Mac and Chess yesterday? Are you planning to continue those? And if so, is there room for an outsider? Specifically, Brian, I did not have your email, which is why I did not send you one. Email me and I'll let you know. Yes, so I went to Mac and Chess yesterday. This is a board game cafe that's in Miami. This place is phenomenal, folks. It's very small. There's not a lot of room there, but the food, I mean, the price that you pay for the food there is way cheaper than the price that you would pay for this food any other place, and it's amazing. I got mac and cheese with broccoli, sauteed mushrooms, and tomatoes in it, and truffle oil. It was really, really good. I would go there just for the food. That's how good it was. High end, they have games there. It's a nice little place. Highly recommend checking out Mac and Chess. But anyway, Brian, email me, and I'll get you hooked up. And of course, we jumped down. Jabba jubba job, jubba dub choo, jubba dubba doo. Would you like to run an FLGS, a friendly local game store? Probably not. I wouldn't want to work all the time at the store like that. I'd want to do other things. I like doing this sort of thing. I wouldn't mind it. I think I could run one, and I think I could run it well. I really do. But I don't want to. Who have the best taste in games of the people behind the Dice Tower? Tom Vasel. I checked it out, and his stuff matches mine like almost perfectly. All right. What kind of hat would you like that you don't already own? Well, let's see. I own several cowboy hats, although I'm still looking for a really good white cowboy hat. I don't have a white cowboy hat. I want a white cowboy hat. I have a lot of fedoras. I need a purple. Oh, no, I have a purple fedora. What's the... Oh, I want an orange fedora. I don't know why. I just want an orange fedora. Other hats? I don't know. I'm really happy with the hats that I have. I guess if I see a hat, I'm like, ooh, that's a hat I wouldn't mind having. I might get that. I wouldn't mind getting a top hat that fit. I don't have one that fits. It barely fits on my head because I have an extra large head, so most hats don't fit my head. That's the problem I run into. Have you ever had your final thoughts rating at the end of a Miami Dice affected by your co-stars? I don't think so, but maybe. Do you do a components drop after the review or before? Always before. I will dump out the piece before because it's usually after the first time I play a game I do a components drop. Do you get tired of reading instruction manuals? I don't know that I love reading instruction manuals, but I don't get that tired of doing it. I get tired of reading bad ones, though. Did you get a chance to play the Chill with Bob Ross game from Gen Con? No, that's in the boxes that are winging their way to us from Gen Con that have not gotten there. The best comic book you've read this year? I don't know. I haven't read as much comic books. I've been reading like regular books for a while, and I kind of let comic books by the wayside. I've gone and read a few of them. But I've been just rereading some old series and stuff. I don't know if there's any new series. I feel like there's one new series that I read that I really enjoyed, but it might have been about Kingpin. I forget exactly, but... why are there so few women playing board games? I'm really trying to get more females interested in hobby, but most lose their interest after one try. I don't know if that's necessarily true. There's lots of women playing board games. When I was just at Gen Con, it was a very high percentage. And I checked at my house, and there's more women that play board games in my house than men. I'm going to spend one day in Miami in December. Any recommendations? There's good food there, but unless you like beaches and nightlife, there's not a lot in Miami itself. A lot of people are asking questions about Essen. I haven't really put any kind of effort into looking at what's coming out of Essen. It's still a month and a half away. We will be doing Essen previews and things like that, so we'll talk about it more as time comes by. Let's see. I don't know if you've been asked this, but why not Board Game Geek Con this year? Well, we were planning not to go to Board Game Geek Con anyway. I really like the con. It's a lot of fun, but it was essentially a vacation for us. We weren't really working there. The crowd of people at BGG either really dislike us or they already know about us and they're good friends with us. It wasn't like we were meeting new people there. And like our show that we did at BGG Con, smallest show we do of any, the fewest people would show up for that. There's a lot of alpha gamers there, which isn't as fun for me. People there are all about play the newest game, hot game, hot game, hot game, which is great. I like playing games. But it seemed like the emphasis there is the games over people. Now, that's all minor stuff. It's still a great con. Had a great time. I just was going to cut out of our schedule with PAX Unplugged being at the same time. That just cemented it because I really want to reach that new audience. Let's see here. Do you think Star Wars Legion will kill Imperial Assault? I don't think so at all. Am I excited about Crystal Clans? I really am. Crystal Clans, I'll be honest, when I saw it, I was like, oh, ho-hum, another card player game. But Colby sat me down and he walked me through some of the rules, and I'm really excited. I really like this action selection thing. There's this action thing on the side of the board, right? It goes 20 to 0 to 20 on my side. So let's say it's at 4 on my side, and I'm like, I'm going to do this action. This action cost me 10 to do. So then I move it 10. So now 6 towards your side. So now you could spend a 5 action, and then you could do a 10 action, because you have that much more to mess with. So the bigger actions you take, you give your opponent a lot of actions that they can do back at you. That's a really cool concept, and I'm very excited about it. I don't record my board game plays ever. Let's see here. Do you get frustrated of games that just keep releasing expansions? No. I'm a collector when my game's complete, but it's frustrating when they keep releasing more and more stuff and never ends. But that's your fault, right? And I don't mean to say that to be mean, but if you have to have everything, then why would they not keep making expansions? That's on you. I have Star Wars Armada. It's a game I like a lot. I bought some of the expansions for Star Wars Armada. I don't have all of them. I don't need all of them. I'm fine with what I have. If they come out with a new ship, like the new Admiral Thrawn and Chimera, oh, I'm going to get that, right? But I'm not going to get the other one. I just don't care that much. You don't have to have everything. You cannot blame the company for that being your fault. People are like, well, I'm a completionist. Should I clap? Why is being a completionist considered a good thing? It's not. You're just going to drive yourself and everyone around you insane. I have a completionist friend. You may have seen him on our channel before. I mentioned to this friend the other day, I was like, hey, I got some new cards from Mystic Vale because I filled out a survey on AEG, and they said if you filled out a survey, they would send you these cards. And he's like, I have to have them. Like, do you even know what they are? No. When's the last time you played Mystic Vale? I don't know, but I have to have these cards. And I was like, why? It's not that big of a deal, you know. You can buy mine for 80 bucks. Completionists, we love you because you make everyone else rich who has these promos, I guess. What is your price difference limit for when to support a local friendly game store versus, I've never seen it spelled that way before, versus buying games online? For example, would you pay 20 more to support your local game store? What about 50? You know how much more I'll pay? How much they deserve. It's the same way I feel about tipping, right? I've always thought it was idiotic in America that you are supposed to tip 15%, 18%, whatever. They keep raising the number. Why? It's a tip. It's above and beyond. I'm not required to pay that tip, so you need to earn that tip. And the amount that I tip you, which could be anywhere from a low percentage to 20, 30%, is based on how good of a job you do. You do above and beyond, I want to give you that extra money. That's the same way I feel about a local game store. If they want me to pay more than online, then why? Make it worth my while. You should make it so that when I walk in there and you say, hey, do you want to buy this game? And I'm sitting there going, I'd rather buy it online, but man, I feel embarrassed because I like these people so much, I want to buy it from them. That's the difference. It's not a monetary amount. It's on them to make me want to buy it from them. And this has happened in the past. I've gone to places and I've bought from these people rather than this. There's times where, you know, you'll buy something from a friend, right? You know, a friend who has their own home business, whatever, and you'll buy something from them rather than buying it somewhere else. Why? Because that person's your friend. Well, that local game store needs to make me think that they're my friend so that I'll buy from them. Holiday Road. All right. Let's see here. What's your high score for patchwork? I don't know. What's the most common mistake game night hosts do in your experience? Probably the most common mistake that game hosts will do is they just they have expectations that may not be met. Like you come over like, hey, we're going to play this game. People are like, I don't want to play that game. And the game host's like, well, my night's ruined. Well, not really. Have you tried breakfast poutine? I have not, but it sounds good. Will we get to see Melody's top 100 games if she ever makes the list? I think, how many have you put in the list so far? She's not listening. How big is your top 100? Did you finish it yet? How many games are on it? She's just compiling the games that might be on it right now. My daughter is 7 years old and beat me in patchwork with 29 versus 24 points. Impressive or not? I'm a bit biased, but I'm very impressed at that score at that young age. Well, it's also possible that you're horrible at the game. Let's see here. Buttons or zippers? Probably buttons. I'm not going to play New Angeles. I've decided that now. Just too long. I wanted to play it, but it's just not going to happen. What was the worst manual you've ever read? There's so many. I wouldn't even know where to start there. And I try to put them out of my mind. Let's see here. Milk first in tea or milk last? You know, Americans don't put milk in their tea, right? I've had it when I was in Britain, and it's fine. I'm not opposed to it. I just don't put it in my own tea. Tea is tea, maybe a bit of sweetener. If I need it, some honey, maybe a bit of lemon, I'm fine. Or just some straight tea. Blacker the better. What's the deadline for the Dice Tower cruise tickets? It's really soon. If you're going to come, you're going to come. If you're not going to come, the time is running out. I think there's like 30 rooms left or so. Jason was just talking to me about it yesterday. So you want to do it quickly. If you could name the hurricane, what would it be? I'm sorry, I'm going back to sea. A little bit of How will you spend your time while waiting for Seventh Continent come in the mail? Well, I'll make do. What's wrong with Hero Quest? Well, Hero Quest just needs to be redone. I mean, it's an okay game, right? But it's very lucky. It's just it's fun. I had a great time playing it back in the day, but it's very basic and just very lucky. Let's see here. Have you read The Wheel of Time? Yes, every single book, twice. Probably more than twice, because he took so long to publish a new book that every time a new book came out, I would have to start reading the series over again because I couldn't remember all the characters. Too many characters. Economy of characters. Look, I don't like books that have like 5 characters. I like huge, grandiose casts. I really do. And yet, Wheel of Time pushed that so far. Not to mention that usually people were glowering, thinking about how stupid men were and how women never thought, and how women thought men were stupid. It just never ended. It never ended. Okay, well, we only have 5 minutes left, so we better get cracking here. Although I'm not that far behind in questions. That's good. Solution for completionists. Sell any game when it comes out with an expansion. That's true. That's true. Quick. Get rid of it. Too hot to handle. Do you think photosynthesis would be a new classic like Ticket to Ride and King of Tokyo? No. I usually can feel when that sort of game has been released. I don't know how to explain it. When you see a game, you're like, this game will be one of those games. All right? The game that's currently in that position of games that are in that, explosiveness is probably Codenames, right? Codenames is there right now. Another game will come along at some point. Photosynthesis is great. I think it's going to do very well, but it is not the next Ticket to Ride, even though I like it a lot. Are you ever going to review One Night Alien? You think so. I was planning to play it this past weekend, and then a couple other things popped up and took up our time. My friend who owned a FLGS used to make me a cup of tea every time I visited. It made it very difficult to leave without buying something. I know! Tom will be the top 10 post-Gen Con list games. I think we're doing enough Gen Con videos. There's a lot of videos coming out this week. I believe we have 11 scheduled for tomorrow. What has been your favorite Marvel movie so far? Guardians of the Galaxy. Have you tried the expansion for Pillars of the Earth? Yes, I have played that. Let's see here. Chupa chupa doo 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 doo. Seeing as you enjoyed your Norway vacation. No. We went on a Norwegian cruise line. We didn't actually go to Norway. Besides Melody, which of your children has shown the most interest in the hobby so far? Probably Jimmy, at the rate he's destroying all my games. He apparently really likes them. Is there a way to purchase the Dice Tower promo seen at conventions online? There will be at some point, but I want to make sure all the people who we sent them out to gets them first. Do I have a certain episode podcast that's my favorite? Well, I like 500 because it was fun to do a retrospective of the whole thing. I don't know. There's some podcasts when we're done, I'm like, that was a good episode. I really like these new ones that we're doing with 3 people. They've been very fun for me to do. Are homes in Florida cheaper than California? Isn't everything cheaper than California? I wouldn't know, though. If you had to pick only one game between Clank and Clank in Space, what would it be? At this point, it would be Clank in Space. I like the space theme better. I like the modular board, so that's better too. Do you feel gaming hipsters are a thing? Yeah, but that's been a thing for a really long time. So, what can you do about that? When will rooms be assigned for Dice Tower Cruise? Jason said September 11th, I think, or something like that. I just asked him yesterday. Do you enjoy or dread these live Q&As? I like them. They're fun. What is the most ridiculous board game component ever? We just did a top 10 list on the subject. Let's see. What was the last game you played? What is the last game I played? We played it last night. It was some medical game. I don't even remember the name of it. It was a medical worker placement game. That's the last game we played. Oh, it is 4 o'clock. Still sunny. We'll be doing some live stuff. I think tonight Sam's doing a live thing of Rising Sun. I will probably do some live stuff this weekend just to let you guys know that we're alive till we lose internet and power. And then you'll see a big splash of water come on and the screen will go dark. And that's dark. Guys, we appreciate you thinking about us. We really are taking this seriously. So just keep an eye out. Watch our Twitter. Watch Facebook. We are going to try to get as much stuff done and scheduled to come out this week as we can. Our top 100 is done. It's being edited right now. You'll see that coming out this Thursday. All right. Well, I appreciate everyone. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching live Q&A on the Dice Tower. See you next time.